How did Alan Millyard get the one-of-a-kind Norton Nemesis V8, which was apparently designed by people who thought a motorcycle is just a collection of cool-looking parts, to actually run? How did he deal with a front end so ridiculously over-engineered that taking a wheel off required the removal of the entire fork assembly and a custom-made tool, a design choice that screams, so, you've got this Norton Nemesis, right? The one that was supposed to be a motorcycle, but ended up as a very shiny and expensive paperweight in a museum for over 2 decades? And you're wondering what happens when you hand over this British engineering marvel to a genius like Alan Millyard. Alan Millyard, the renowned engineer and custom bike builder, was commissioned by the UK's National Motorcycle Museum to restore the one-off 1999 Norton Nemesis V8 prototype and make it run again after decades of being a static display. This project was prominently featured on Millyard's popular YouTube channel and involved a painstaking teardown and rebuild of the highly complex and ambitious machine. The Nemesis was a showpiece of a failed attempt to revive the Norton brand in the late 1990s, designed by Al Melling for the Canadian-owned company. It was an extraordinary concept, powered by a 1,500cc, 60-degree V8 engine that was essentially to 750cc inline-fours joined together. Original claims for the bike promised 260 horsepower at the rear wheel and a top speed exceeding 220 miles per hour. Revolutionary figures for the time. Do you get a perfectly functioning bike? Or does he discover that the original design is so flawed it looks like a kid's science fair project gone wrong? Is it possible to revive a V8 engine that was more of a promise than a product, especially when the original builders were more let's put this part here and see what happens than let's use a torque wrench? However, funding issues and internal disputes caused the project to collapse, leaving the Nemesis as a non-functional museum piece. Millyard's restoration efforts documented numerous engineering flaws in the general prototype nature of the bike, where many bespoke parts lacked the precision of production-level components. We have more ambition than common sense? What sort of sorcery did he use to tame a prototype V8 engine that was a glorious mess of cobbled-together parts, including mismatched gearbox and alternator gears, a leaky cooling system, and an ECU that was probably powered by a single potato? The Nemesis was a showpiece of a failed attempt to revive the Norton brand in the late 1990s, designed by Al Melling for the Canadian-owned company. It was an extraordinary concept, powered by a 1,500cc, 60-degree V8 engine that was essentially to 750cc inline-fours joined together. Original claims for the bike promised 260 horsepower at the rear wheel and a top speed exceeding 220 miles per hour. Revolutionary figures for the time. Millyard's process involved stripping the bike, pulling the engine, splitting the cases, and meticulously addressing issues with the oil pump, starter clutch, and gearbox drive gears. A major challenge was sourcing unavailable custom-made parts like shell bearings, which Millyard creatively overcame by machining existing bearings to fit using his engineering expertise. Another significant hurdle was the outdated and supported original ECU, which Millyard replaced with a modern, programmable unit. The culmination of this long and detailed restoration was Millyard successfully firing up the V8 engine on his workbench in October 2024, an event that was widely celebrated by motorcycle enthusiasts. Following further work, the Nemesis was publicly fired up in its frame in February 2025 at the London Motorcycle Show. Entry into the museum. The prototype found its way to the National Motorcycle Museum in Birmingham, UK, where it sat incomplete for decades. A monument to its failed promise, successful completion. After 6 months of work, Millyard completed the restoration in 2025, and the bike was ridden for testing purposes and appeared at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button and express your opinions in the comment.